These tools were supposed to help you know yourself better. Instead, they taught you to check a score before you trust your own mind. That sounds small. It is not. Because once a number gets there first, your feeling gets demoted. You wake up tired. The app gets there first. You feel off. The dashboard gets there first. And before you have even had a full thought, your inner life has already been translated into system language. That is the trap this video is about. Sleep scores, mood trackers, recovery metrics, stress readiness apps, wellness dashboards, systems that promised more self-awareness, then quietly taught people to manage emotion like performance data. You can watch it happen in real life. A watch says your recovery is poor. A phone says your sleep was bad. An app asks you to label your mood before you have even sat with it. And by 8 a.m., a normal bad morning already sounds clinical. Not, I feel strange. Not, something is bothering me. Not, I think I'm overwhelmed. My readiness is low. My stress is high. I'm dysregulated today. That sounds responsible. It sounds informed. It sounds like self-knowledge. It may also be something colder. Because the more often you explain a feeling in system language, the more tempting it becomes to correct it before you understand it. And after a while, the goal is not to know what you feel. It is to get back to usable as fast as possible. You didn't notice when it started. It probably looked harmless. A sleep score in the morning, a readiness score before work, a mood log at lunch, a stress alert in the afternoon, tiny check-ins, tiny corrections. A number feels easier than uncertainty. A dashboard feels easier than admitting that sometimes your life is what hurts. That is why this spreads so easily. Modern life already rewards this posture. You are supposed to be self-aware, calm, functional, productive, easy to work with, good at regulating, good at keeping your inner life from spilling all over the room. So, when a system offers a more efficient way to monitor yourself, it does not feel like control. It feels like maturity. That is the pattern break. What looks like emotional responsibility can become emotional intolerance. A low-energy day stops feeling like part of being alive. It starts feeling like an error. A bad mood stops feeling like something to listen to. It starts feeling like something you failed to catch early. You felt this before. You wake up wrong, not broken, just wrong enough to notice. Maybe you slept badly. Maybe a conversation is still sitting in your chest. Maybe you are lonely. Maybe you are disappointed in your own life in a way you do not want to say out loud. But instead of leaving that open, you start scanning. Sleep, recovery, heart rate, readiness, stress, hydration, caffeine, breathwork. All the possible reasons your state can be adjusted without asking what it means. That is where the system crosses a line. It stops helping you notice yourself. It starts helping you intercept yourself. You are not just tracking a feeling. You are getting to it before it can become fully real. And this is where it gets worse. The most disturbing part is not when the data is wrong. It is when the data makes you feel safer than your own experience. When the app says your recovery is poor and some part of you relaxes. Not because you feel better, because now the feeling has a number attached to it. Now it looks legitimate. Now the bad feeling belongs to the score. That is the micro shock. Bad data can feel like relief, because unexplained pain asks more of you than a dashboard does. A score gives you a script. Rest more, adjust this, reduce that, correct the state. But real life is rarely that clean. Grief is not clean. Loneliness is not clean. Resentment is not clean. The slow dread that something in your life no longer fits does not arrive with a recovery plan. It just sits there, and sitting with it is exactly what this kind of system trains out of you. At some point, this became normal. You can hear it in the way people talk now, at work, at dinner, on podcasts. People do not always say, I'm hurting. They say, my stress is high. They do not say, I think I'm unhappy. They say, my habits have been off. They do not say, I miss who I used to be. They say, I need to regulate better. Sometimes that language helps. Sometimes it turns a wound into maintenance. And maintenance does not ask to be understood. It asks to be handled. So a person has a fight with someone they love. They feel ashamed, angry, exposed. Instead of staying with any of that, they start optimizing. Sleep earlier, walk more, Less caffeine, cold shower, breathing exercises, better routine tomorrow. All of that can be healthy. All of that can also become a way of refusing the more dangerous possibility. That the problem was not a bad state, it was a bad truth. A person can become extremely skilled at self-management while becoming worse at self-confrontation. They can track everything and still not know why they feel empty. They can explain every fluctuation and still not be able to say, I am sad, or I am angry at someone I need, or I am grieving something that is not coming back, or I built a life that keeps me functioning and still leaves me numb. That kind of honesty gets trained out slowly, not by force, by preference. Because this system rewards the version of you that returns to baseline fast. That stays legible, that stays manageable, that stays useful. The first thing you lose is trust. You stop trusting the first signal from your own body. You wait for confirmation. The second thing you lose is tolerance. Your ability to let a feeling stay unresolved for a while, to let it be ugly, to let it be inconvenient, to let it be there before turning it into a project. The third thing you lose is intimacy, because other people can feel when you are managing yourself instead of showing yourself. They can feel when they ask what is wrong and you give them a status update. They can feel when your pain comes out sounding processed before it has even been felt. That is where the story gets personal. A partner asks what is wrong. You tell them your sleep has been bad. A friend asks why you seem distant. You tell them your stress has been high. Someone is trying to get close to the part of you that hurts, and all you can offer back is a report. Not because you are lying, because you have been trained to approach every unstable feeling as something to regulate before it can spread. That makes you easier to manage, easier to schedule, easier to employ. It may also make you harder to know, and that is the deeper damage. You do not become emotionless. You become edited. You keep the feelings that can be named quickly, explained cleanly, and recovered from on time. You lose patience for the slower ones, the humiliating ones, the ones that interrupt your identity, the ones that do not improve on schedule. You know the pressure. Get back to normal. Get yourself together. Do not let this drag on. That pressure sounds like discipline. A lot of the time it is fear. This is the philosophical crack. Some parts of life are supposed to disturb you. That is not dysfunction. That is attachment. To lose someone and not sleep is not poor recovery. To be heartbroken and unfocused is not failed optimization. To feel dread because your life has gone numb is not a system error. But once you learn to treat every feeling like something to regulate, even pain has to prove it deserves to stay. Even grief starts feeling excessive if it lasts too long. Even loneliness starts looking like a bad routine. Even disappointment starts sounding like a mindset issue. And slowly, without saying it out loud, you become the kind of person who can describe your nervous system better than your sorrow, who can explain your state faster than you can admit what your life is doing to you, who knows how to recover, but not how to remain present inside something that cannot be fixed by morning. After that, the tools are no longer just helping you track your life. They are teaching you which parts of your humanity are allowed to take up space. And the last part is the hardest to admit. You may not be using these systems to know yourself better anymore. You may be using them to avoid becoming the kind of person life can still disrupt. The kind of person who can be changed by grief, delayed by confusion, shaken by love, exposed by disappointment, unable to package pain into something clean and functional, because once every feeling has to be tracked, named, regulated, and improved. There are parts of being alive that stop fitting inside the life you built. The slow parts, the embarrassing parts, the parts that do not heal on schedule, the parts that do not look healthy while they are happening. If you keep treating those parts like bad data, you do not just lose the feeling, you lose the room inside yourself where that feeling was allowed to mean something. If every feeling has to be optimized, where do you put the parts of life that were never meant to feel good?